And that's where we're headed. Welcome back. We're back in the bush. And yeah, as I said, we're about to climb that bad boy there. Heading up to do some possum monitoring. I was extremely fortunate to be asked by the crew at the Department of Conservation to come in and do some possum monitoring in this area that I haven't been to for a number of years. The helicopters just dropped 5 different guys in 5 separate locations, all setting out to put out some lines of wax tags in order to monitor possum densities. Fred dog and myself on this one. I've only brought Fred in because we had the helicopter and we had certain weights we had to adhere to, so I was allowed 1 dog in the rifle, and I thought it could be a good opportunity for Fred to come in, and we'll try keep him in close on the deer, see if we can indicate a few, get a few shot over him, or at least 1 would be nice, bit of venison to take home. And also because I had word that there were a couple of young pigs hanging around, and by the looks of the clearing they might still be in here. So when the temperature cools we'll have a look for them. And the only downside to this mission is that currently it's 11:30 AM in the morning. I've just had a sandwich and it is bloody hot. It will be a minimum of 30 degrees out in the sun. It is cranking. So I'm a little bit nervous about my climb up to the tops. It's just over 1,000 meters where we're going, and we follow the ridge north. Never been up there before, so hopefully she's all pretty straightforward to get up there, find our lines, make some waypoints, set up the wax tags and stay hydrated. So we left the bottom bang on lunchtime, and it's now just on 1 PM, so it's taken us an hour to climb up. Just sort of cruised our way up, tried not to blow the foo-foo valve too much. And yeah, we're just about to drop off the side, a couple 100 meters, and then we'll start our monitoring line and start putting out the wax tags. Had our first venison encounter just while we were standing here having a drink of water. Looked like a hind or a yearling popped its head up just over there, but by the time I wiped the sweat off the phone and got the lens clear, it trotted down the hill. This fellow had a quick little look but didn't pay too much attention to it. Oh-wee. Oh, can't have perfect bush forever. Apparently my line needs to start 100 meters down there, and it is a bit of an impenetrable beach sampling face. Steep, thick, yummy. And we are all done. 6:10 in the evening, and yeah, I was a little bit under the pump today. First time in a long time that I've been a bit stressed out. Stressed out in terms of getting the bushwork done anyway. Yeah, it was a lot harder than I thought. Up on this ridge there were some real shitty sections, and with this monitoring you've got to try and stick to a compass bearing and keep your lines real straight, and it was an absolute mission. So a couple of them I just had to follow the main ridge, and the only game trail that I could sort of follow through all the thick stuff, all the saplings. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Alright. A little bit unsure about that one. Velvety feeding away. Went for the headshot, so we'll go see if we made it happen. Well, we got him. We'll go and bleed him out. Woohoo! Yeehaw! Well, that worked out really well. We're about 1 kilometre from camp. I was starting to worry a bit. I thought we would have seen a deer pretty quickly. Bulk amount of sign in here. And yeah, we were just meandering our way up the stream. There was a nice flat out to our right that we sidled through. And just as we got onto it, Fred got real keen, nose to the ground, and then he wanted to go a bit far forward. So I pulled him in. And then I just slowly meandered a bit more and could smell the animal. We got to the end of the flat and I couldn't figure out where it was, and then I got a little slight breeze come down. Fred got keen again and wanted to push around the corner, and we poked our head around the corner and saw some branches moving, and yeah, just a young velvety stag was feeding right on the edge of the stream. The head and the neck was all I could really see every now and then. So I got the camera ready, had it on the video for quite some time, and because I was holding the rifle with one arm and the camera with the other, I was getting a bit fatigued. So I thought I'd just take the shot, just in case he winded us or saw us and spooked. And yeah, went for the headshot and dropped him right on the spot, so that was cool. This fella's got the prime pull. Check it out. So I just jumped up above that stag to fill the water up. Gonna have a water, a few muesli bars for Bricky. And this trout down in here is an absolute stonker. It'd have to be a good 6-pound river rainbow, and I'm not sure if the camera will be picking it up, but just behind him there's about 5 to 6 really small trout right back down into the shallows here. But yeah, that one there is an absolute beauty. Catch him. Where'd they go, boy? Where's the pigs? Where's the pigs? Where's the pigs? Good work, Fred. Good boy, Fred. You got your squealer, mate. And that'll be your dinner and my dinner. I don't think we'll be taking it out because it's going to go off pretty quick in the heat. Too much, Fred. Back at camp now. We've just hung all the meat up down by the stream. Covered it up in some fern fronds and hopefully it'll stay cool. It might get a couple of hours sunshine on it and then the sun will head over. I've put it underneath a big bank so that all the midday and afternoon sun shouldn't affect it. Because yeah, I forgot me bloody muslin cloth, so that was a bit stink. I don't have a game bag, I need to get one. So we're going to have a brew, have a big feast. And yeah, I'm a bit shattered to be honest. Got a bloody sore throat, so I'm not sure if I'm getting a bit ill. The young fellow was complaining of a sore throat at home, so maybe I've got what he's got. Teach me for telling him to harden up. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Myself and Fred are just about to head downstream. We're gonna cruise our way down about 3 kilometers. Bloody hot. I wasn't able to sleep, so I thought bugger it. We'll head down and then we'll camp up down there until evening and then we'll walk that 3 kilometers back stalking and looking for a deer. You never know, we might see one on the way down there. Might be a velvety out chewing his cud or sunning himself in a clearing. There's quite a big breeze at the moment swirling around. The heat of the day has definitely picked the wind up, so that'll be a bit of a nuisance. And there's a few thunderstorm clouds out to our south, so we'll see if they roll in. Otherwise, we'll keep you updated as we cruise on down. Well, that's a really nice looking velvety. He's still there, I've just got to try and get a shot. Interesting. Well, sorry I didn't get it on video for yous. I got over here underneath him. He had eyes on me straight away. So I took a shot. Then he moved forward about 10 paces and just stood there. So I'm pretty sure I didn't even hit him with the first one. Then I had a second shot on his shoulder. And it looked like he ran off. Oh, there was a few twigs and shit in the way, so we'll send this fella up and see what's going on. So he was standing right here on the first shot. Yeah, definitely looked like he just got a bit of a fright with the noise and moved forward. And he would have been standing somewhere around here on the second shot. No blood. See if this fella can pick up his trail, but I'm pretty sure he exited out that way. Did boss screw that one up, did he, Fred? Oh my god. Oh. I'm not sure what happened there. Must have, oh, I don't know, deflected or... it was a hard one. Anyway, check this out. Big crazy matai or metal. I struggle to tell them apart, and there's a couple others living on the shingle slope. Now we got to get back down there, Fred. Oh, he looked plump too. Decent bit of antler on him. If he hadn't had eyes on me, I probably wouldn't have rushed and cocked it up. Where's he going, mate? Where's he going? Well, can throw the F word at that one. What a dickhead. So we were coming down the stream, hadn't had much going on, and Fred got real keen here. He was throwing his head in the air, trying to catch the wind, and kept looking up here. He even just climbed up a little bit and then came back down. And so we just walked around the corner a bit to get the breeze coming down towards us. And then he was on the bank there, just going keen as, winding up into here. So sat down, got Smoko out, Washed my face, took my shirt off, scrubbed my arms and my armpits, and then as I was sitting there drying out, we spot the big boy Velvety strolling through the face. Oh, hey Fred. And then I clean missed him twice by the looks. So we sidled through and back down here where Fred originally was keen, and yeah, no luck. No blood, no scuff marks, nothing. No good. A prime opportunity blowing. We would have had that fella cut up, packed back to camp long before dark. Bugger. Now well, back to cooling down and eating chocolate in the shade. Crazy bloody deer highway. Madness. Well, I better tell him to turn around. I guess I'm going through there too. Pair of blue ducks with one baby floating down the rapids. First duckling we've seen in here. I think we've seen about, what would it be, 5 pairs, 2 singles, and now this pair with their duckling. And this, leave, Fred, leave mate. Interesting. How'd you get here, mate? Oh, the pigs never found it. Fred! And another one 50 metres downstream from the other. Coming up 5 PM. It's taken us just over 3 hours. Sorry, I'm munching my chocky. Taken us just over 3 hours to get down here. So we're going to have a 30-minute break here, some water. The afternoon sun is still blazing. Have a bite to eat, and then we're going to start stalking our way back. Good boy. Good boy. Bring it here. Good boy. Hey. You got one. Chased it out of its little hidey hole and smoked it. Good boy, mate. Multi-talented bloody conservation dog you are, my friend. Deer, pigs, stoats, possums. Just have to get you onto the hedgehogs. And maybe the cats. What do you reckon? Yee-hee-hee. Go, Fredster, go. Got us a wild pork, beef, potatoes, kumara, cabbage, broccoli, the num-nums. First time using the Sea to Summit collapsible pot. Perfect for the little gas cooker. Be no good on the open fire. But yeah, she's a beauty. We ended up getting back to camp way earlier than I was thinking. The wind was right up our ass coming back up the creek, and it was just way too hot. So I ended up boosting quite quickly. So we've got about an hour and a half of daylight left. Gonna have a feed, a brew, and then just gonna spend 30 minutes to 40 minutes, the last little bit of daylight, close to camp down in the stream, and we'll see if we can pick up a deer. My little tree stand has worked so far. Hopefully she doesn't wind us. Yeah. Might have to stalk in a bit closer. Okay, sorry I wasn't able to film it. I need to get a camera that can go on the rifle, because the old phone in one hand, gun in the other ain't that flash, especially at that distance. So we'll nosy on up there and see if we got him. It was just a shoulder shot that I was aiming for, but he did run across the river. So I'm hoping he's on the ground over there and not disappeared into the scrub and That's our second miss. But yeah, I first thought from back where I was in my tree stand, I'll show you. So we were just in amongst those trees there, in behind the log jam. It was a pretty cool posse to wait and watch. And yeah, I'm glad something came out. But yeah, from the tree stand I thought it was a hind, but I'm pretty sure it's just a velvety with only small bulbs on top. Hey Fred, should we go see if we got him? Good boy, mate. Little spiker to be, by the looks. Beauty. Just a young fella. But that's prime. That's what you're after when you're looking for a meat animal. He's not fat, but he's not skinny. Just a good bush specimen. Wrapped. I was starting to get impatient in my little tree stand, so I'm glad I didn't push on. Good morning. Day 3 for us up here. Had a beautiful sleep in this morning. It's about 9:30 AM and I've just walked 30 minutes from the hut to come and collect this meat. We ended up leaving it in the tree here and the sun's just about to hit it. The blowflies and the wasps have turned up, so we'll bag it up, make sure there's no eggs on it and take it down to our cooler, shadier spot. Fred's been having a real good sniff around this area after we sorted the meat out. We just went downstream a bit and we're sidling through a flat. And yeah, it's one thing in this area I didn't realise the first few times I came in here was how much hino is around. And that's what the small pigs have been scuffling through all through this. There's a lot of small hino trees and lots of old berries and nuts on the ground. So they'll be going through finding all the crumbs. And yeah, it's given me a good indication of why during winter and during the fruit season you get a few bigger pigs come through this area. The few times I've been in here in the colder months, And what I've heard about the place is the mobs will come through. You might get 1 or 2 sows with their suckers. They'll come and have their piglets up here while there's lots of food on the ground, and then generally the sows will head off back downstream towards the east coast, and the young ones will stick around until they either run out of food or realise they've got to move elsewhere to keep fed. No luck there. Fred had a real good look around. You could tell that the small pigs have been nosing all through that stuff. Might have been from this morning or during the night. And yeah, just coming up 11:30 AM. Gonna be another stonker again. So we're just about to drop down this little face up onto the other side, head up back to camp and have a chill out. Have some brekkie. Bloody hungry. The heat is mad. We've left camp. It was too bloody hot to sit around there. Too hot to do any chores out on the clearing. So we're going to make our way up the main river, which up this high is more like a good sized stream. And we're going to do the same as what we done yesterday and just meander our way up. 2 to 3 hours, just take our time very slowly. Gonna have a swim and a wash at some stage and find some shade, have a couple of chill outs, maybe look at a slip or two if we manage to come across one, and yeah, keep our eyes and noses peeled for a venison. coming up 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and we've sort of got as far as I'm willing to go up this stream. The wind was much the same as yesterday, very hot, swirly, up and down, so that was a bit of a nuisance. But it was just nice to have an explore, go somewhere new. And yeah, we're just going to sit here for 30 to 40 minutes, have a water, have a breather, and we've got a good little area around us, so you never know, something might walk through. Bit of cloud rolling in, so that'll be nice, ease off the warmth. Naughty. Good. Too keen, eh? Too keen. Bugger. Oi. Fred. Settle. Oh man. Well, that's only my fault. It's not Fred's. But he got super keen. He came up in here. He was winding. Then he turned around, he trotted back to me. He brought me up to here. And this absolutely beautiful feed area that we passed through on the way up. Look at all the feed trees. And I didn't see it at first. There was a bloody big velvety right there. And once it broke, Fred broke, and I tried to get a shot as it ran, but he was too close behind it, so I left it. And I thought he was going to bring it down into the stream, but he only got 100 meters and turned around and came back. But that's my fault for letting you chase them, eh, mate? You done all the right things till that last little minute. Oh well, mate, that's my discipline, not yours. Oh well. I had videoed this area on our way up. It just screams deer. All the leaves are falling off. The deer will constantly be coming through here, picking them all up off the ground. And yeah, it was just a shame. I probably came up a bit too fast behind them. And yeah, as soon as it took off, Fred was gone. Another good opportunity. Nice velvety. That fella had sort of, I don't know, 2 to 3 big bulbs. He was quite a big looking animal, but the length of his velvet was nothing like the stag we saw yesterday, the big fella. But he might get there. He definitely looked pretty chunky himself, and the velvet looked pretty solid, so I'm sure it will lengthen with time. Only the start of December. And if I had the energy and wanted to find some more deer, that's where I'd be going. Check it out. Beautiful venison posse. Good morning. Whew. Nice early start this morning. We're climbing back up to the centre ridge to pull in all the possum monitoring wax tags. Need to crank through the line. The helicopter's due at 2 to 2:30 p.m. So yeah, we're under the pump a little bit in terms of getting this done, getting back, packing up our gears. We done a little bit this morning while I had a brew, and then if we've got time we'll bone out the venison back legs just to lighten the load a little bit for the helicopter. The bird song's been beautiful this morning, so that's nice. That'll help us get up the hill. One of the local goat culling contractors that I know has been in this area recently. We had a couple of young billy goats turn up in the forest, and because it's goat free, it's important to keep it that way. So he's been in the southern block and a couple others checking things out, trying to figure out where they come from and see if there's any more. I don't think he got onto any in here, which is awesome, good to know. But yeah, I'm just looking at the hills, and there was a map which I'm pretty sure he left, which detailed all the areas he walked and sidled through, and he basically covered everything that we're looking at right now. Main ridges, some real good sidle lines through a lot of the big faces. Woohoo! And here I am huffing and puffing and whinging about climbing one main ridge. Crack up. Would be a pretty cool job. But yeah, don't know if I'd be cut out for the 10-day stints and sidling into no man's land, not knowing what you're going to come across. Good on you, Kobe. Well done, brother. Check that out for a bit of track infrastructure. Camera on the phone's pretty shitty, but if you look center screen and coming down that bluff there on an angle, there's the public walking track. Yee-hee! Would have been fun installing that one, boys. Hearty effort. Glorious and righteous, as long as Fred is your witness. Hey boy. And the sweat is starting to flow. Feeling wonderful. The old tickle in my throat from the first day has just ever increased. And yeah, I must be battling something, because haven't been feeling too flash. Possibly should have just been in the shade having a snooze for the last 2 days. But it was just too tempting to explore. And what a place to explore. Mad. Back to our first line. First wax tag up the top. Nothing's touched it. All the flour would have been washed off with the big thunderstorm and heavy rain yesterday evening. And when I set the line out, plus just with the little tiki tour I've had while I've been in here, I haven't actually seen bugger all possum sign. So yeah, it'll be interesting if we pick anything up with the wax tags as we head through all of this stuff. But this area we're in has had a number of 1080 drops over the years. The last one was a wee while ago now, and the two neighbouring big blocks that back onto this area are both privately owned, and they have real good extensive possum control from what I've heard and learnt, including 1080 as well. So it means that you've got less likelihood of the possums re-infiltrating or moving back into the area. A lot of the northern forest, there's a huge number of possums getting back in there now, and that's because there's no control on those parameters, on those boundaries, so they just move back in quite quickly. So yeah, it'll be interesting what we see. Stoat nesty Frederick. Well, I'll leave that one, mate. Third line sidles, a couple 100 meters below the ridge, down through this stuff. Doing good for time. Now that's a crazy looking spider. If anyone knows what this bad boy is, let us know. Call it the giraffe spider. It's got like this long ass thing coming off its head. And two little crazy white front legs or pincers. Mad dog. Go get him, giraffe. All the wax tags are now collected in. We've just dropped back into the stream. Fred's currently climbing the hill, so we might have come across the small mob of weaners again. the sign's pretty fresh. Some of it's had rain on it from last night. We were coming down that side of the stream and he was getting keen as there's a good breeze coming across from this side. So I followed him over and then we hit all the sign. But I'm not sure if he was winding the sign or if the pigs are up the hill somewhere and that's where he's getting the wind from. He went about 80 metres up and then came back. But unfortunately we don't really have time to muck around with it and see if we can get him onto them. We got to get back and get packed up. And that's us. Me and Fred put in a good bit of effort trying to get back onto those pigs. Was quite keen for him to catch another one and have a fresh one to take out on the helicopter, but it wasn't to be. Then we realised the time was against us, so we had to boost back to camp, have a quick pack up, get all our gear in order and ready for the helicopter ride out of there. So yeah, as always, thanks heaps for watching. Any comments, likes, appreciated, and we all look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers everyone.